Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon, and today I'm going to be talking about the best AD mid laner in Wild Rift, which is Corki. So I'm going to have a champion overview for every champion that I'm playing in my Road to Sovereign solo queue series, which will be starting next week when the new season comes. So if you guys are interested in builds or specifics on that champion, I'll be going a lot more over that right in that type of video. But basically we're going for the crit build on Corki, Essence Reaver, Solari, Mortal Reminder, Infinity Edge. So why is Corki so OP right now? Well, after the rework and then the eventual buff that he got to his base stats, he just has way too much burst damage, as you're going to see later on in the game when you get, to your later items. 100%, this crit build is definitely better than the Manamune build. I know a lot of people like the Manamune build, but the burst damage, way too insane on crit. I promise you guys, you are not going to regret going this build. And you can see just early on in lane, the way you're usually playing it as Corki as well is going to be quite aggressive, poking people out really hard. You have really good all-in on level 2 with your third ability due to the armor shred. And just overall, the champion has good poke as well with their first ability. And you can just get a lot of pressure in lane. So you can see that's what we're doing in this lane. Pushing the Galio in. I mean, Galio is a really, really easy matchup for Corki. He's very good in the Galio. And you can just easily get a lot of free autos in. And you can also melt through turrets really well. So if you don't know kind of how the rework worked, basically now you do 20% true damage on your autos. And that true damage goes onto turrets as well. You're going to see throughout this game as well, the turret damage is really insane. But for now, we're mostly punishing the Galio whenever he walks up for last hits, squeezing in as many autos as possible, slowly pushing the wave, and then eventually looking for a recall on our mana boots if possible. But again, for now, we're just looking for all these trades. We win them really hard, and because I have my second ability, Cleanse Flash, I'm not super gankable. So even if the enemy jungle shows up, I'm not that worried about it. Which is another nice thing. You have a little bit of mobility to avoid these ganks, and you just see every time he walks up for a last hit, I'm getting my autos in onto this Galio to the point that he is extremely low. I used my cleanse too early there, unfortunately. Not used to the nerf yet, clearly, but we still get the solo kill because of that early game damage that you can see. We get to crash the wave, and we're just up a bunch of gold already on the Corki. And so pretty frequent that you're going to be able to find these early lane leads on Corki, and yet he still scales really, really well. Again, I'm going to go over more details with my champion overview next week of Corki and all of my champions that I'll be playing next season. But one important thing to note is when we pick Corki, most of the time it makes sense to pick Corki when you already have some AP on your team because he's an AD champion. You don't really want to be playing an AD mid laner with full AP or with a full AD on your team. So that's why we do that. And then you're going to see here, like the goat I am, I miss my Q or my ult flash, so we don't kill him. But we would have killed the Galio if we hit that. Little unlucky. It happens. Sometimes you miss your spells. But we saw the angle, we tried to go for it, and now we're going to kind of have to back off because we have no flash, we have no cleanse. So I just need to make sure I heal up and everything like that. But we're still up a bunch of gold on the Galio. We're up like 600 gold. Mostly just focused on getting that early lane pressure. And then if someone roams against you as a Corki, it's really easy to push turrets. And so you're going to see, I think Galio goes in ults top side here. And instead of matching that roam to a global champion like Galio, I decide that I'm just going to push the wave. And that's exactly what we do. And we end up getting a bunch of free gold from it, as you're going to see. We'll just kind of skip forward, and you'll just see me melting through these turrets as the Galio is stuck, not really even doing much. We ward over the wall as well, so we see that the enemy jungle camp is up, which means that I know that Kane's probably going to go there. And because I'm higher level than Kane, I want to actually go onto him and force him off of this camp, which is exactly what we do. I do miss my spells because I suck, unlucky. But still get good pressure on him. We got 2 plates, and I'm just overall extremely fed. Corki is a champion which focuses pretty hard on being pretty selfish. It's overall a champion where you want to prioritize your own gold. You can roam if you see good angles to, push your wave and then roam. But it is a champion that very much can play for lane, can play for that gold lead. And you see here, we already got the turret down to 550 health. So we've already gotten 4 plates from it, which is 600 gold just from that alone. Then again, you can see my damage onto this Galio is extremely high. I go pretty aggressive there to try to create a solo kill angle. Realistically, shouldn't have used my second ability though. And you're going to see it does put me in danger to the Kane, but we just run away, and our Aatrox is right here to protect us. Thank you very much, Aatrox, for that. And so we're just going to end up recalling as well. After we push out the wave, though, of course. So pushing out the wave, resetting about 30 seconds before the objective, and then just having a very easy time to help our team in the fight afterwards. It looks like I actually decided to go for the turret, right? I remember now. We saw the enemy go bot side, so we go for the turret, and we get first turret. So you see, I literally got, and that's the true damage, making your damage so high on turrets. I don't know why you do true damage to turrets, but you do. And so we melt the turret there. And I'm already on my first item. Hitting boots and first item before first dragon is pretty insane, right? If you do this, you're probably going to be in a position to carry most games. And then here, my teammates are going really deep. They're losing the fight. And so I decide I'm just going to go try to kill this Xayah who is going really aggressive, who's kind of low mana, who's not full health, this type of thing. So I just end up going and chasing. You can see the burst damage as well already in the early game if you hit this power spike that we hit. Then I flash onto the Xayah and do end up killing her. It's pretty close, honestly, there, but we do end up getting the double kill out of this. And kind of snowballing from there. So with all of the burst damage that we now have, with the items and everything, we're just able to very easily burst down squishies, as you can see. And you're really going to see the burst damage on Solari especially. Like, Solari is an item I don't go on many champions, but specifically on Corki, it's pretty absurd because you spam a lot of abilities during fights, which means you get a lot of value out of the charges from the auto damage that you get from the Solari. So the overall burst damage is really nice, and it's an item that's going to give you some attack speed because the other items you're building don't give attack speed. So it's also nice for that reason. So yeah, I mean, just overall the build is pretty insane, and this champion's burst damage is pretty fucking insane, honestly. But yeah, we just end up focusing on pretty much getting as much gold as we can, continuing to prioritize our own gold above all else. And that's pretty much, you know, the gist of Corki, right? In the early game, again, you play around the fact that you have that good auto damage to win your lane, as you saw kind of against the Galio. You utilize the fact that you can push turrets really well to push your mid lane turret when you can. And then you can also find roams like this here to, again, further break down turrets where you can see how fast we melt through this turret and everything like that. And again, the burst damage on the Riven as well. Like, literally, that guy is already 25% HP from a couple autos and a couple abilities, which is pretty insane. And you even see us melting through this turret as well. But I do get kind of greedy here, I believe. I think I W forward. Yeah, I think I W forward onto Galio. So definitely some stupid Ws by me, I will say that. Definitely not the best usage of my W this game, early game, but it's all right. You know, we make mistakes, it happens. And Riven ends up killing us. I don't know why I clicked my cleanse, but I do. Just for fun, I guess. I clicked my cleanse so that I wouldn't have my cleanse later. But either way, the game's actually not looking that good. We're up about 1,000 gold as a team, but I'm up 2,500 gold, which means my team as a whole is down 1,500. So I'm kind of realizing at this point, I got to really focus up. Can't troll the game too much harder. Got to really get myself to the late game, be able to kind of pop off in the game. So that's mainly what we're focused on here. Aatrox ends up getting a double kill. We'll skip through that. You don't need to see my teammates doing well, only me doing well. That's all that I care about. We're going to hide our teammates' good plays. No, but Aatrox gets a triple kill. Aatrox ended up doing really, really well this game as well, and definitely helping us get to the late game. But again, if we're just prioritizing this kind of getting to the late game, you're going to see how the burst damage is just going to be absurd in later parts of the game, and that's really what I want to show you guys with this video. And I just kind of wanted to give you guys, you know, an idea of the best AD mid laner right now in the meta. I will make a full video on the meta once the new patch comes. I'm waiting for the new patch because of the new items and everything. Probably play that patch for a day or two. And then I'll give you guys kind of the overall meta report on that and everything like that. Again, we're going to be doing the solo queue to Sovereign Challenge. So you guys will be seeing the champions that I kind of mentioned in previous videos that we'll mostly be playing. But yeah, here Corki, or Kayn rather, one-shot me, which kind of surprised me. I thought that level 9 Kayn, and it was red Kayn, wouldn't kill me. I guess I should have paid more attention to his items though. He had Serpent's Fang and yeah, boots. I'm definitely surprised that that fully killed me there. Didn't expect that damage, but red Kayn is kind of underrated. That champion, especially with the healing and everything too, and a lot of damage, it's actually quite strong, but not as strong as Corki, which we'll skip back here again and show you guys kind of the damage onto the enemy here. Basically, the way that you're playing these fights usually is you just want to make sure that your third ability is on whoever you're damaging because it's going to shred through their armor. And then just use your abilities in between autos. So you see every time that I'm autoing, I'm using an ability afterwards. Just to, you know, kind of get those up a bit faster. Or like, you know, get more damage out of kind of my spells and everything like that. You can see the burst damage onto the Xayah even is pretty insane. Just anytime that anyone is within your range, you're pretty much going to be bursting them down. And a couple autos, like you can melt through tanks. You're really good into tanks because of the true damage. Melt through squishies with this crit build. You don't really have a lot of weaknesses. I would say the main weakness for Corki is the short range. So into like really long range poke comps, that's kind of how you're going to struggle. But when it comes to just raw damage output, you're pretty much going to be unmatched by most champions in the game. So that's really kind of what you need to be concerned with, is just making sure that you're able to close that gap between people. Maybe not pick Corki into super high poke comps, high range comps, but overall he's just very strong in general. And melts through tanks especially, as we kind of said, which is why the enemy comp is kind of nice for me. They're pretty melee focused, pretty easy for me to get in range of and auto attack, get my burst damage on, that type of thing. And then when it comes to fights, you just need to keep track of the key spells that the enemy have. Sorry. That the enemy have, and then use your second ability to kind of escape them. So like Riven dashing onto me, for example, we've seen multiple times where I dash over, or I dash away from like the Riven engage or stuff like that. That's typically what you're going to kind of be wanting to pay attention to. You can go over the wall here, and again, just kind of lay a bunch of damage and autos into them, force out basically all their flashes. And I don't think we end up killing anyone, because, you know, they just end up getting out. But overall, we're still forcing them back pretty hard, so it's still good. Also, the new thing with the package now, if you guys don't know, instead of it being, also, my damage is kind of insane. I think we get the snipe here. Yeah, look at the snipe. But instead of the package, I don't know how I live this, by the way. I keep interrupting myself, but I don't know how I'm alive. Like, I have no idea how I live this. Instead of the package giving you what it used to give you, which was like that really long dash, now, after hitting 6 rockets, a package drops on top of you and gives you 4 big rockets when you pick up the package. So that's kind of the new thing with Corki as well. Gives you a lot more burst damage when you pick up that package, so it's kind of useful. I kind of miss the old Corki, honestly. I like the package a lot more when you could dash, you know, on top of people. It was pretty fun. But this Corki is definitely stronger. I mean, just melts through people. The only sad part is that you're not an AP champion anymore, so you don't really deal magic damage like you used to, but, you know, it is what it is. And then again here, just look at my burst damage onto a Galio. Like, that is a Galio. I think he's building AP, but still, already half health. Kind of insane, just the burst damage you're going to do, and you're going to continue to see that, you know, as we go throughout the game. As long as I'm able to get in front of people in auto, like, I'm going to be pretty happy. I think I tried to snipe the Galio, but my teammate ends up getting the kill, which is fine. Again, this Aatrox is pretty fed. He's the only other person, apart from me, who's really, like, quite strong in the game on my team, so mainly me and him kind of focusing on getting as much damage out and carrying the game, which, again, is pretty straightforward when you're playing Corki in the fights. You just focus on dodging the key spells, keeping track of those, and then just getting a bunch of autos in. And also, look how fast we melt the Baron. Like, that is a lot of my damage doing that much. So you also melt objectives. Well, again, it's that true damage that just makes it so insane. Just a completely broken champion, frankly, right now. As long as you pick it with, you know, when you have some AP on your team, you're going to be feeling very good about playing Corki for sure. So, yeah, I'm overall pretty happy with my champion pool, too, that I'm playing for mid lane. I mean, all the champions are really strong. Orianna, Corki, etc. Like, they all feel like very, very good champions. So there is that as well. But yeah, again, we get the burst damage onto them. Mostly just playing safe as well. I feel like I maybe with the Baron could go to a side lane now instead of being mid lane. Probably would be a bit more beneficial. But either way, we're just focusing on getting as much damage as possible. I think I killed the Galio. Yeah, I think I died. I could have cleansed the Ignite. Yeah, I remember this. I was ignited by Yuumi and I didn't cleanse the Ignite, so I died. But I got very greedy there. You can definitely see the greed when you're playing one of these shorter range ADCs can occur if you're not careful. Multiple times I went too far forward. Again, not always kept track of the spells properly, and you know, paid for it with my life a couple times. But luckily my Aatrox is kind of smurfing, so shout out to the Aatrox. You know, I think I definitely wouldn't have won this game without Aatrox. I did spoil the game for you guys, so I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah, I had a show called Dexter spoiled for me, so now I'm mad at you guys and I'm spoiling the game as like retaliation, because if I have to suffer, then so do you guys. That's just kind of, you know, just my way of paying you guys back, so you're welcome, even though you guys aren't the ones who spoiled it. But anyways, I don't know, I just say things sometimes in the middle of my videos. Either way, I'm at 12k gold. I have the most gold in the game right now, so or maybe my Aatrox has more, but I have them, you know, I'm more than everyone on the enemy team. So because of that, anytime that you're ahead of the pace of the game on Corki, you're going to melt through literally anyone who comes your way. So again, we'll just kind of go. We'll go to the team fights here and kind of show you guys again that damage. You'll see it here on the Riven in a second. Just literally can one-shot most people. Actually insane. Like, this champion is not balanced, which is why I mostly just wanted to show you guys this video of like look at that. Like, what is that? My champion is not balanced, dude. What the heck? And I had the fleet footwork auto attack there, so you saw like the quick auto attack because of fleet footwork. I like fleet in mid lane. I don't really like it in ADC. I like Conqueror in ADC, but when I'm playing mid, I like going for the fleet. Helps with the mana, helps with the sustain in lane. I can't talk. Oh my god, words are hard, but sustain in lane, it helps with that as well. So it's nice overall. And again, you see, once again, we're just completely melting these turrets. Like, they die so quickly with Corki. Actually, such a broken champion. And Galio is about to get one shot, I think. I'm pretty sure we one-shot him. And Xayah as well. I mean, he's squishy champion. Literally like a couple autos and he's just dead. Yeah, we end up killing 3 here, but dying to the Kayn. literally like 3 auto attacks for a squishy champion once you're 3 items and you killed him. Or I'm 4 items now. I mean, I'm just completely fed. And so here, pretty much, you know, just need to get the Baron and then the game should be pretty straightforward. But you're going to see in a second that my entire team kind of goes too far forward before I get there. And they end up messing up. Caitlyn already dies. Aatrox is 1 HP. So I'm focusing on just trying to get as much damage out as possible, but it's pretty hard now that the enemy are potentially stealing the Baron. Luckily, my jungler secures the smite. We get 1 kill. We one-shot the Xayah because my champion is balanced. Riven comes. Again, we second ability away from him. One-shot him. I got a triple kill. I see the angle for the pentakill. I'm really looking for the pentakill. One-shot the Kayn, and then we get the pentakill because I'm the GOAT, and we win the game. So, actually, such a broken champion. Corki is really, the burst damage is absurdly insane. Overall, just pretty nutty champion. You're definitely going to be seeing me play it a lot more whenever I have an AP champion in the jungle on my team or anything like that. We'll show you guys the stats of the game really quick. We're up to 153 marks, which is the second highest I've ever been in a season. The highest was 161, so you can see 51k damage, 37% team damage. Pentakill, overall a big carry, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed playing Corki if you do try it out, and I'll see you in the next video.